Pull that branch out of the way.
What began as a quiet night
Dig
in
deeper
Denver
right here.
suddenly changed when Titan, a loyal K9 partner,
There's
froze and
definitely
growled
something
at the
here.
shadows.
The dog knows
A
it too.
stranger rushed into the
Careful,
lobby,
don't hurt the pups.
dropped a small crate, and escaped before Logan could
Keep
stop
digging, they
him.
have to be right under here.
Inside that
I
crate
hear 'em,
was
they
a
sound close.
terrified little dog.
Careful with those
Titan
roots.
barked and pawed desperately, as
Keep
if he
digging,
knew
it's right
this was a
under here.
warning.
I see something.
Someone
Clear the
dangerous
vines.
was sending a
Need
message.
shovel, hurry.
This moment would lead them into a hidden world of cruelty and a fight for justice. And it would prove that God sometimes sends miracles not with wings, but with
There's
paws.
definitely something here.
Before
The
we
dog knows it
begin,
too.
make sure to
Careful,
like
don't
this
hurt the
video,
pups.
share it, and subscribe for more stories of
There's
courage.
definitely something here.
And tell us in the
The dog knows
comments,
it too.
where are you watching
Careful,
from
don't hurt the
today?
pups.
A chilly autumn breeze slid through the Aspen Valley forest, stirring shadows beneath towering pines and brittle leaves. Officer Logan Carter walked the narrow woodland trail with a steady but reluctant rhythm, every footstep pressing memories deeper into the earth he wanted to forget. 34 years old, tall and strongly built, he carried the kind of presence that made others step aside without him speaking. His unruly dark hair and slight stubble framed a face shaped by quiet endurance. The faint scar slashing across his right eyebrow, earned in a botched operation years ago, reminded him daily that not every life could be saved, not every mission redeemed. Since that night, Logan had learned to keep his laughs as rare as miracles and his trust closer than breath. His world had narrowed to the badge on his chest and the dog by his side. Titan, a 5-year-old German Shepherd K9 with a noble coat of sable streaked with black shadows, trotted faithfully beside him. His ears flicked, every sound a language only he understood. Titan's amber eyes sparkled with sharp intelligence, yet there was a softness too, reserved solely for Logan. Titan had been found severely injured a year ago, a victim of the cruelty they still couldn't trace. Logan had refused to let him die, spending nights at the vet hospital, hand resting on Titan's side as if holding him to this world by sheer will. Since recovering, Titan had been fiercely loyal, almost too loyal, like he feared failing again. These late patrols usually calmed Logan. Far from sirens and desperate calls, he could breathe. He sometimes spoke to Titan, not confessions but thoughts too fragile for human ears. Titan listened without judgment, tail sweeping leaves when Logan's voice cracked. Tonight, though, Logan could feel Titan slipping into a tension he could not yet name. Titan paused abruptly, muscles coiled beneath his fur. His head tilted toward a cabin barely visible through the tangled ivy and sagging porch beams. Its once white paint had rotted into gray despair. The structure seemed to crouch under the stars, like a secret begging not to be found. Logan's pulse hitched. Titan never froze like that without reason. "Titan, what is it?" Logan murmured, instinct tightening every nerve. Titan didn't answer with sound. He answered with motion. He lunged. "Titan!" Logan surged forward, nearly stumbling over exposed roots. Titan skidded beside the cabin wall, claws sinking into the thick mat of ivy that smothered an ancient tree root fused into the foundation. Then he began to dig. Violent, desperate. Dirt flew like flung warnings. His claws scraped until a metallic scent rose. Blood, fresh from his own paws, tearing open. Logan grabbed his harness, voice roughening. "Easy, buddy. You're hurt." Titan jerked away, eyes wide with something unsettling. Panic. Logan had seen Titan fearless against gunfire and roaring engines, but never this trembling urgency. Fear clutched Logan's chest. Something was terribly wrong. He grabbed his radio with shaking fingers. "Officer Carter requesting immediate backup at my location. K9 alert, serious. Possible buried evidence. Hurry! His voice cracked at the end, vulnerability slipping through professionalism. Minutes stretched like punishment until backup arrived. Officer Eric Shaw, late 20s, short brown hair under a crooked cap, and a soft face that still carried innocence despite the uniform, rushed up holding a shovel. Always polite, painfully earnest, Eric tried to prove himself daily, often overthinking and apologizing for breathing too loud. Behind him came Heather Klein, in her early 40s, with sharp hazel eyes and a deliberately short chestnut bob. Her posture radiated command. She had a reputation for being firm, sometimes cold, but the tight line on her jaw hinted at grief she'd never let out. Logan didn't turn. He kept a hand hovering near Titan, his anchor. "He won't stop," Logan said, voice low. "Whatever's here, he feels it." Heather knelt beside Titan, who growled, not at her, but at the earth gripping its secret. "He's terrified," Logan whispered. Heather's eyes flicked up, surprise softening her features. "Canines don't panic," she replied. "Unless—" She didn't finish. Eric started to dig. Logan joined him, fingers clawing through cold soil because the shovel felt too slow. Titan whined, pressing his bleeding paws deeper into the hole they created together. Logan's heart hammered against his ribs as if trying to flee. Then, Eric's shovel hit something that wasn't root or stone. A soft, dull thump, the sound of death sleeping shallow. They uncovered a bone. Logan's hands shook as he brushed dirt aside. A canine skull emerged, weather-worn but unmistakably trained, once proud. Rusted scraps of a harness still clung to fragments of rib and spine. Titan whimpered, a sound too broken for an animal so brave. Logan felt something rip open inside him, a wound deeper than any scar. He recognized the harness style, the tag, chipped but readable. K9. A partner lost. Buried here like trash. Heather's lips parted, horror numbing her usually steady gaze. Eric stepped back, swallowing hard enough that Logan heard it. Titan lowered his head, pressing his nose gently to the skull, his body trembling with grief that did not need words. Logan's voice scraped out, hoarse. "Someone did this. Someone killed him." The cabin, once just ruin, now loomed like a predator caught in moonlight. Everything in the air tasted wrong, like cruelty and unfinished business. Logan curled his fingers into fists, nails biting his palms. He had failed once before to save a life. He would not fail Max, not in death. "We follow this," he vowed through teeth clenched with fire. Titan lifted his gaze, golden eyes fierce, breath shaking but resolve unbroken. Grief had become purpose, and in that shared look, Logan understood. The hunt for justice had already begun. Night clung to the woods like a secret refusing to leave. The shallow grave lay open behind them, soil disturbed and horrors revealed. Logan Carter's breath flowed sharp and uneven as he stood guard beside Titan, who pressed his wounded paws into the earth as though determined to stay anchored to the truth he had unearthed. Heather Klein radioed headquarters to request a crime scene team. Her voice remained steady, but her eyes, usually as stern as carved stone, betrayed a flicker of grief and fury. Logan could relate. Max had been more than a dog. He had been a protector, a partner, someone who deserved a better ending than darkness under ivy roots. A distant rustle cut the silence. Titan snapped his head toward the tree line, ears pricked, low growl simmering in his throat. Logan followed his gaze. the weight of dread returning like a familiar enemy. Something had been here recently, watching them. Whatever took Max had not simply vanished into the past. Eric Shaw fidgeted with his gloves, the night air chilling his nerves. Should we? I don't know. Go inside the house? He asked, voice trembling slightly. Logan didn't answer with words. He led the way, Titan at his heel, Heather and Eric tight behind. The old cabin loomed before them like a beast with rotting ribs. The door creaked open with a push, releasing a heavy stench of mold and forgotten fear. Logan clicked his flashlight on. Dust floated like ghostly memories in the beam. Inside, broken crates, torn leashes, rusty bowls and claw marks scored deep into wooden walls. Titan sniffed along the floorboards, tail stiff with alertness. He paused at a chain bolted into the wall, one that had been forcibly ripped free. Logan's jaw locked. Whatever dog had been chained there fought for life until the end. Heather examined a stained tarp partially shoved under a shelf. Dragging marks, she murmured. Something heavy. Or someone, Logan added, his stomach knotting harder. A sudden scraping sound from the back room made Eric jump. Titan barked once, sharp, commanding. Logan raised his flashlight. The room beyond was darker than the rest, soaked in shadow. He advanced slowly, gun at the ready, and there, crouched in the corner, was a figure. A man. Gaunt, filthy, trembling like a cornered animal. His clothes were shredded, his hair a tangled mess of gray and brown streaks falling past a weathered face. His beard was patchy, scraggly, uneven, as if ripped out by stress more than cut. His skin, pale beneath the dirt, clung tightly to bone like hunger had claimed him long ago. Logan recognized the uniform he once wore, barely visible under grime, a faded logo of a pet transport company. Hands where I can see them, Logan commanded. The man lifted them slowly, voice shaking as he spoke. Please, don't shoot. I tried to run. Titan snarled, but Logan shifted slightly to block him. Who are you? The man swallowed, Adam's apple, jerking like fear was trying to escape his throat. Name's Eddie Cole, he stammered. I just cleaned cages for them, for the ones that disappeared. Heather narrowed her stare. Them? Eddie nodded frantically. The buyers. The trucks came at night. They brought dogs, all kinds. Some police dogs, too. They said they went to new homes, but I heard them screaming. I tried to help one once. His voice broke, tears carving paths through the dirt on his cheeks. They cut him, to make an example. Heather stiffened, fists coiling with restrained rage. Eric swallowed again, eyes wide with the realization that this was bigger than missing pets. Logan stepped closer. Who's running this? Eddie shook violently. I don't know his name. They call him Boss. He wears a ring, gold, with a wolf on it. Coldest eyes I've ever seen. If he knows I talked, Titan barked sharply, cutting him off. But the bark wasn't aimed at Eddie. Titan was facing the front door again, hackles up, growl warning of danger approaching. Tires crunched outside. A vehicle. Lights snapped off before stopping. Logan's heart slammed into his ribs. Someone was here. Heather drew her weapon silently. Eric backed into position. Eddie curled into himself, rocking with terror. Titan's growling deepened, muscles coiled as if spring-loaded. Logan raised a hand. Wait. Footsteps creaked outside. slowly, circling the cabin, predator-like, testing their fear. Logan whispered to Titan, barely a breath, "Not tonight. We're not losing anyone tonight." The footsteps paused. A quiet, chilling absence of sound followed. Then nothing. The presence outside faded, swallowed by the forest. Whoever watched them was gone, for now. Logan exhaled only when Titan's body eased slightly, though tension still simmered under his fur. "We need to move," Logan said. "Now." They escorted Eddie out, Titan keeping tight formation. The grave of Max remained behind them, uncovered yet still aching with truth. As they left, Logan looked over his shoulder at the dark cabin. The hunt had begun harder, darker than he imagined. But Titan had chosen this path, and Logan would follow. Because tonight wasn't just the uncovering of a crime, it was a promise. They would find the ones who did this, and every shadow in these woods would learn to fear the light of justice. The night shift at Denver Police Department. K-9 Division buzzed with low tension as Logan Carter guided Titan through the sliding doors. Titan limped slightly, his paws wrapped with fresh bandages from the brutal digging earlier. Each step he took carried a mixture of determination and invisible pain, yet his stance remained proud, a warrior refusing to rest. Eddie Cole, their unexpected witness, had been escorted to a secure interrogation room. For a moment, Logan watched officers lead Eddie down the hall. There was fear in Eddie's posture. Shoulders curled inward, neck shrinking like he expected violence with every breath. Logan understood that kind of fear, the kind that never left. Sergeant Robert Hale waited for them inside the K-9 office. Hale, a man in his early 50s with a barrel chest and thick graying mustache, carried authority like a heavy coat. His voice usually boomed with command, but his tired brown eyes betrayed sleepless nights spent wrestling with unsolved wrongs. His stiff posture and clenched jaw reflected years of pushing feelings aside, a habit that hardened both his muscles and his heart. "Carter," Hale said, nodding. His gaze flicked to Titan. He acted on something real tonight. "He knew," Logan replied, the exhaustion woven into every word. Hale rubbed his temple, troubled. Max's disappearance haunted this unit. To find him like that. His voice trailed off, grief interrupting authority. Titan nudged Hale's leg softly, a silent offering of shared pain. Hale knelt, surprising Logan, and placed a calloused hand on Titan's head. "Good work, boy," he murmured, the words cracking slightly. Logan felt a lump rise in his throat. They didn't have time for sorrow, but grief demanded moments. Hale rose, snapping back into command. "Before we interrogate Eddie, Titan needs to show you both another part of this trail. If they're transporting stolen dogs, they must be storing them somewhere." Logan straightened. "He can track it." "Good. We go first light." Logan nodded, though sleep felt decades away. Titan threaded close to Logan's leg, eyes scanning every shadow, every noise, always guarded. Logan admired that vigilance, yet he worried too. Titan carried a trauma he could not voice, and fear, when buried too deep, could become a fuse. Logan spent the remaining hours patching Titan's paws again, while the dog rested his head against Logan's knee. He let Titan feel his presence, a quiet promise. "I'm here. You're not alone." Morning arrived veiled in gray clouds. Titan perked up when Logan clipped on his harness, the signal of purpose. Hale drove them to the outskirts of Denver, where city met wilderness in a lonely sprawl of old warehouses and forgotten rail lines. Titan sniffed the ground, catching scents invisible to human belief. Logan followed his partner's lead through weeds and rusted fences. Titan pulled them toward a large storage facility, its red metal siding peeling like sunburn. A sign barely hanging on the gate read, "Aspen Valley Storage, closed for renovations." Hale narrowed his stare. Convenient. Just then, a woman stepped out from a nearby office trailer. She was tall and slender, in her late 30s, with sharp cheekbones, olive skin, raven black hair tied into a sleek ponytail. Her uniform bore a security company patch, though it looked too new for such a rundown place. Her name tag read, Clara Vaughn. Clara's green eyes tracked them with controlled interest, like a cat measuring threat before acting. Her posture said confidence. Her guarded expression said secrets. "Can I help you, officers?" Clara asked, voice steady, almost charming, but too smooth. Logan stepped forward. "We're conducting an investigation. We need access to your storage units." Clara crossed her arms loosely, calm but subtly defensive. "We store household items, furniture, tools, no animals." Titan growled, a deep, low note vibrating with certainty. Clara's eyes flicked to Titan, and something cold flickered there, quick but real. Hale kept his voice neutral. "We'd still like to take a look." Clara's pleasant expression thinned. "Do you have a warrant?" Logan held her gaze. "We can get one." Clara smiled then, slow and controlled. "Then come back with it." She turned and walked away, her boots tapping on metal steps. The door shut behind her like the snap of jaws. Titan whined with frustration, pawing the earth. Logan knelt, meeting his partner's eyes. "I believe you, boy. Something's here." Hale began making calls for a warrant while Logan scanned the yard. A fresh tire track curved behind the units, disappearing through a gate left slightly ajar. Titan's nose twitched, body tensing. He smelled life and fear. Logan followed Titan through the gate and into a small fenced clearing. There, hidden behind stacked crates, was a tiny form. A dog. A small border collie, no more than a year old, trembling violently. Her black and white fur was matted with dirt and burrs. Thin ribs showed beneath her coat, and a broken collar dug into her neck. Her eyes, terrified but hopeful, locked onto Titan. Logan's blood ran cold. They were right. Titan approached slowly, lowering his head in calm invitation. The collie whimpered softly and pressed her body into him, relief trembling through her bones. "We've got evidence," Logan called, heart surging with both fury and hope. Hale hurried over, eyes widening. "This is enough to get us in." Titan stood protectively over the rescued dog, chest proud, tail gently wagging, comforting her like a brother who had once been saved and now vowed to save others. Logan stroked Titan's neck, voice low and fierce. "This ends here." Titan lifted his gaze to Logan, amber eyes blazing with purpose. Little by little, the darkness was being dragged into the light. One buried truth, one saved soul at a time. The morning sky over Denver struggled to brighten, smothered beneath heavy clouds the color of steel. At the Aspen Valley storage gates, Logan Carter stood beside Titan, the dog's posture rigid and eyes blazing with anticipation. Titan's bandaged paws pressed firmly into the ground, as if he refused to show weakness while danger waited just beyond the metal doors. Sergeant Robert Hale held the signed search warrant tightly in his gloved hand, jaw locked with purpose. A squad of officers formed behind them, preparing to breach each storage unit. The small border collie rescued earlier was now safe in the back of a patrol car, curled on a blanket, finally breathing without fear. Logan felt Titan glance toward her every few seconds. Protectors recognized the vulnerable, especially those who once were. Clara Vaughn stepped outside the security trailer, arms crossed and face pale but composed. Her olive skin seemed slightly gray in the weak sunlight, and there were dark marks under her sharp green eyes. Worry, anger, or something deeper. Clara looked less like a guard now and more like someone calculating risks. Hale presented the warrant. She scanned it and exhaled through her nose, resignation tightening her mouth. "You'll find nothing," she said evenly, but her voice held a thin crack in the middle, the kind fear makes. The officers moved in. Titan's nose darted from unit to unit, inhaling the truth the way only he could. Logan followed the dog's lead. The first few units opened revealed only dusty furniture and boxes stacked high. Old couches, a rusted lawnmower, nothing illegal. Titan pulled toward the far row, the ones closest to the tree line. He halted at Unit 39, tail held stiff, ears pitched forward like twin daggers. Logan signaled silently. Two officers slid the metal door up with a grating scream of rust. A sudden thick odor hit them, the scent of fear, filth, and cramped lungs. Inside, cages stacked 3 high-lined both walls. Some cages were empty, doors hanging open like broken promises. Others held trembling dogs, German shepherds, labs, huskies, animals bred for strength, service, and loyalty. Dogs who didn't understand why humans had betrayed them. Titan growled low. Logan's heart clenched as he met the terrified eyes of a bruised German shepherd. He recognized the harness marks on her fur. She once belonged to someone, loved someone, trusted someone. That trust had been weaponized. Hale spoke into his radio with urgency, calling for animal rescue teams. Then Titan jolted again, pulling Logan farther into the shadows. At the back of the unit, half hidden beneath a crate, lay a box. Logan crouched. Titan whined, pawing the edge. Logan lifted the lid. Inside lay dog tags, dozens of them, tarnished, scratched, some bent, others stained in a way that made Logan's blood run cold. Titan pressed his nose into them and whimpered, tail tucking beneath his belly. Hale choked back anger. "They kept trophies," he rasped. Logan felt his heartbeat pound against the bones of his chest. Max's tag had been buried with him. But what about the other partners whose scars still haunted the department? The ones they thought walked away from duty or ran? No. They had been taken, stolen, used, and discarded. Officers spread out, checking neighboring units. Titan's growl sharpened again, leading them to another door, Unit 41. Before anyone could open it, footsteps pounded from inside. Someone cursed. The metal rattled violently as whoever hid there tried to escape out the back. "Police!" Hale barked. Logan sprinted around the building, Titan streaking beside him, pain forgotten. A man burst through a loose panel and ran through the weeds. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark jacket and a black beanie pulled low over his forehead. His hair, dirty blonde, peeked out in greasy clumps. There was a scar carving a jagged path down his left cheek, and his aggressive strides showed a man accustomed to violence. Titan launched forward like a bolt of loyalty made flesh. He clamped onto the man's arm before Logan could issue the command. The suspect howled, swinging wildly, but Titan held tight. Logan caught up, pinning the man to the ground, cuffing him with practiced precision. "Name," Logan demanded. The man spat onto the dirt. "Harris," he growled through gritted teeth. "Derek Harris." Derek Harris, mid-30s, skin rough from cheap living, anger etched into every line in his face. His blue eyes held no remorse, only hatred for being caught. Hale arrived, chest heaving. "He fits the profile. One of the handlers." Harris glared up at Logan. "You don't know what you're messing with." Logan tightened the cuffs, knuckles white. "Tell me who Boss is." Harris smirked, cruel and unshaken. "He'll find you," he hissed, "and he'll take your dog next." Titan bared his teeth, a deep warning rumble vibrating through the air. Logan leaned in close, voice low with fire. "Over my dead body." The man's smile widened, chilling. "That can be arranged." Hale hauled Harris onto his feet while officers rushed him toward a patrol vehicle. Titan came to Logan's side, head pressing briefly against his thigh. Reassurance and vow wrapped into one fragile gesture. Logan looked back at the units, anger battling hope. They were saving dogs. They were uncovering truth. But the enemy now knew their names. Logan breathed out. A promise to Max, to Titan, to every dog hurt by this nightmare. This was only the beginning. The interrogation room felt colder than the hallways outside, the fluorescent ceiling light buzzing faintly like a trapped insect. Logan Carter stood behind the one-way mirror, arms crossed tightly over his chest, Titan lying at his feet, with his head resting on Logan's boot. Titan's breathing was steady, but Logan could feel tension radiating through every muscle beneath the thick sable fur. Inside the room, Derek Harris sat cuffed to the table, bouncing one knee in irritated rhythm. His rough blonde hair stuck in chaotic angles, and the angry red mark from Titan's bite wrapped around his forearm like a warning. Derek's eyes were the shade of deep ocean when storms pulled the sky underwater, dark, furious, and bottomless. Sergeant Hale leaned on the table, glaring at the suspect with a patience already running thin. Hale's graying mustache twitched slightly with agitation, while his wide shoulders cast an intimidating shadow across the room. Derek smirked, the expression too confident for a man wearing cuffs. "You think you've done something?" he asked, voice gritty with arrogance. "You're just the first lucky team to find one of our bone piles." Logan clenched his fist involuntarily. Titan's ears perked, picking up the spike in Logan's pulse. Hale didn't break composure. "Tell us who the boss is." Derek leaned back as far as the cuffs allowed. "You're not ready to know him." "Try us," Hale growled. Derek cracked his knuckles. "He has eyes and money everywhere. He buys silence. He buys obedience. And if he can't buy you..." He nodded at Titan through the mirror. "He takes the things you care about most." Logan stepped inside the room before Hale could respond, door clicking shut behind him. Titan rose, following at his heel. Logan took a seat opposite Derek, gaze steady and unflinching. "Where are the dogs being moved?" Derek hesitated for the first time, barely, but enough for Logan to notice. "You're already too late," Derek replied, glancing toward Titan again. "A shipment left this morning. Elite dogs. Police dogs. They're worth a fortune overseas." Titan growled louder this time, eyes locked on Derek's every twitch. Derek chuckled darkly. "That one's going to get a very high price." Logan leaned forward, voice low but vibrating with venom. "I will burn your whole world to the ground, before I let anyone put their hands on my partner. Hale took over again, demanding names, locations, contacts, anything useful. Derek stonewalled, hiding behind threats and arrogance. When it became clear they would get nothing more for now, Hale left the room with Logan and Titan. In the hall, Hale rubbed his brow. "We need intel, now." Logan nodded. Titan found the last lead. "He'll find this one, too." Titan barked once, confident. Officer Jessica Lee approached them with a tablet in hand. Jessica, in her mid-20s, had shoulder-length brown hair and warm hazel, eyes behind thin rectangular glasses. She moved and spoke with methodical precision, reflecting her role as the tech and intel analyst for the division. Her small frame and gentle voice often caused criminals to underestimate her, until her sharp brain revealed what they tried so hard to hide. "We pulled Clara Vaughn's employee records," Jessica began, voice crisp. "She started 2 months ago. Before that, nothing. No residency, no employment. Fake identity." Logan's jaw tightened. "She's involved deeper than we thought." Jessica continued scrolling. "Security cameras around the warehouse were disabled yesterday, but a truck passed a nearby traffic cam. I isolated the license plate." She turned the screen for Logan to see. A black transport truck. Wolfhead logo on the rear door. Logan's pulse hitched, matching Eddie Cole's description. "We got a hit," Jessica added. "Truck registered to an industrial dock along the river." Hale snapped into action. "We move now." The K-9 unit and support officers geared up, heading toward the docks in a convoy of flashing lights cutting through gray daylight. The riverfront was a stretch of forgotten factories, silent giants hiding teeth beneath rust. Titan leapt from Logan's SUV the moment the door opened, nose lifted to the wind. He caught a scent, fear mixed with fur and metal. Titan tugged forward, leading them between crates and shipping containers stacked high like a maze. Logan kept pace, adrenaline burning through his veins. Titan stopped beside a warehouse door, growling. Hale signaled officers to secure the perimeter. Logan and Titan moved first, pushing through a cracked side entrance into dim light. What they found stole the air from Logan's lungs. A line of metal kennels filled the far wall. Dogs, some barking frantically, others too weak to move. A large black German shepherd stared directly at Titan, eyes haunted, ribs sharp against his skin. Titan whined, nudging under the kennel door, wanting to free him. "We'll get them out," Logan whispered, determination heavy in his chest. From the shadows came the slam of boots. Someone ran deeper inside. Titan snarled. Logan shouted, "Police, just stop!" They chased the figure, but the man dove through a loading exit and disappeared into the sprawl of crates outside. Titan barked in frustration, but Logan placed a hand on his back. "We saved lives today. That matters." Officers stormed in to secure the building. Hale forced open kennel doors, while Logan calmed terrified dogs, one by one. Titan stayed beside him, protector, leader, survivor. For now, they rescued who they could. But Boss was still out there, and the hunt sharpened its fangs. Night folded itself over Denver once more, stretching long shadows across the K-9 Division's parking lot. Logan Carter leaned against his SUV, Titan sitting loyally at his side. Titan's eyes, normally fierce and sharp, now carried a flicker of exhaustion. Yet beneath that tiredness simmered an unbroken fire. He had saved many today, but many still needed saving. Inside the building, rescued dogs were being treated and cared for by veterinary teams and officers. Hope was growing there. But outside, danger prowled unseen. Sergeant Hale exited the station, rubbing his gritty eyes with the back of his hand. The lines on his face seemed deeper tonight, illustrating a silent vow that none of this suffering would ever be forgotten. "The dogs are stabilized," he reported, voice solemn but touched with relief. "Some are in rough shape, but they're fighters." Logan nodded. "We need to find the rest before it's too late." Hale lowered his voice. "The boss won't let this slide. He's going to push back." Logan stared at Titan, who sniffed the wind as if already sensing the next strike. "Let him try," Logan muttered. "We'll be ready." Hale clapped a heavy hand onto Logan's shoulder, a gesture of trust and perhaps protection. Then he walked off to brief the night shift. Logan prepared to load Titan into the SUV, but the dog stiffened suddenly, ears tilting sharply toward the dark street. A black sedan idled under a dead street lamp, windows tinted to ink. Titan growled low. Logan's instincts snapped into place. Danger was here. Before he could react, the sedan door cracked open and a tall figure stepped out. The man wore a tailored black coat that hugged a muscular frame. His hair, jet black, streaked with hints of silver, was slicked back perfectly. His skin was pale under the streetlight, smooth and cold like polished marble, and his eyes, icy blue, glinted with predatory calm, like a wolf sizing its prey. On his right hand glittered a gold ring carved with a wolf's head, a symbol Eddie Cole had described. The boss. He approached with slow, confident strides. His voice was smooth, too smooth, like silk hiding blades beneath. "Officer Carter," he greeted, knowing the name without being told, "and the famous Titan." Logan stepped slightly in front of Titan. "You're under investigation. This ends now." The man smiled, an expression without warmth. "Oh, I think we're far from the end. In fact," his gaze slid down to Titan, cold and calculating, "this is just where things get interesting." Logan's fists curled tight. "You're done. We found your dogs. We found your operation." "A setback," the man replied lightly, as if discussing misprints in a newspaper. "But nothing more. You should focus on your partner there. He's quite impressive." Titan's growl deepened, muscles rippling as he took a defensive stance. The man dropped his tone lower, words aimed like poison-tipped arrows. "Did Carter ever tell you how he found you, Titan?" Logan stiffened, caught off guard. The man smiled wider, feeding on the moment. "You were already marked, already chosen, already owned." Logan's heart slammed. Titan froze. The boss continued, voice darkening with truth. "He was one of ours. A rare pedigree, strong bloodline. We were grooming him for lucrative buyers overseas. But someone stole him from us." Logan felt the world tilt, memories colliding with the present. The night Titan was found, the injuries, the trauma. Titan wasn't a random rescue. He was a survivor, stolen from hell, returned to avenge it. Titan barked at the man, a furious declaration. "I'm not yours." The boss chuckled quietly. "You can change his collar. You can call him partner. But a dog never forgets who first broke him." Logan felt rage burn like gasoline in his chest. "He belongs with me, not you." The man stepped closer. Titan lunged, teeth bared, but Logan restrained him with a firm hold. The boss leaned in enough that only Logan could hear. "You can't protect him. Not from me. Not from what comes next." Logan shoved him back. Officers outside noticed the tension, and began moving quickly toward them. The boss raised his hands in mock surrender, the gold wolf ring glinting under dull lights. "I'll see you both soon," he promised. "Try to be alive for the reunion." He slipped into the sedan, and the car vanished into the darkness like a predator retreating to stalk again. Logan's pulse hammered. Titan pressed his head into Logan's leg, grounding him, reminding him they still stood together. "You're safe," Logan whispered, running a hand through Titan's fur. But he wasn't sure he believed his own words, because tonight revealed a truth that changed everything. Titan wasn't just chasing this case. He was the reason it existed. Thunder cracked through the Denver night, lightning flashing like the sky was trying to warn them of enemies on the move. Logan Carter sat in his SUV outside his apartment complex, rain pounding the windshield in a relentless rhythm. Titan lay on the seat beside him, chest rising and falling with shallow breaths. The revelation of his past still clung to him like a second shadow. Logan rested a hand gently on Titan's neck. "Whatever he said, it doesn't define you." Titan didn't look away from the storm outside. His ears twitched, his posture tense. The fear wasn't for himself. It was for Logan. Rain soaked them the moment they stepped out of the vehicle. Titan stuck close, tail down, not submissive but protective. Logan scanned the street carefully. After meeting the boss, every shadow now felt like a threat. Inside the lobby, they were greeted by Olivia Moore, the building's manager. Olivia, in her mid-50s, had soft brown skin and a warm, round face framed by short, curly gray hair. She wore big, red-framed glasses that made her look more cheerful than the world deserved. Olivia had once raised therapy dogs with her late husband before illness took him. She adored Titan, always bringing him treats wrapped neatly in napkins. "Oh, Logan," she said, voice trembling slightly as she noticed Titan's bandages. "What happened to my favorite hero?" She knelt down despite aching knees and gently scratched behind Titan's ear. Titan leaned into her touch, finding brief comfort. "Long night," Logan answered softly. "Well, you two stay safe. The roads aren't kind tonight," she warned, waving before returning to the front desk. Logan led Titan to his apartment on the 3rd floor. The warm light inside felt like another world. Safe, quiet, untouched. But safety was fragile. Titan paced instead of settling, nose raised, analyzing scents the storm tried to wash away. Logan watched him, heart tightening. Titan's instincts had never been wrong. Before Logan could remove his wet jacket, his phone buzzed. Sergeant Hale. "Carter, listen carefully," Hale said, voice sharp with urgency. "While we were transporting Harris to county jail, an SUV rammed the van. Harris is gone. They took him." A cold pulse shot through Logan. "Who's they?" Hale exhaled shakily. "Who do you think?" The boss wasn't hiding anymore. He was cleaning house. "Stay alert, and for God's sake, protect Titan," Hale finished before hanging up. Logan looked at Titan. Titan stared back, eyes blazing with readiness. They would not be prey. A sudden boom echoed down the hallway, like a door kicked in. Titan lunged toward the apartment entrance, barking sharply. Logan drew his gun and motioned Titan to stay close. They moved together, silence within the storm. The emergency stairwell door was now slightly ajar. Rainwater dripped from footprints, heavy boot prints, leading upward. Someone was already inside the building. Then came Olivia's scream. Logan sprinted down the hallway. Titan raced ahead like fury unleashed. In the lobby, Olivia cowered behind the desk, hands shaking. He went upstairs, she choked out. A man clad in black, drenched from rain, bolted toward the exit when Titan intercepted him, slamming into his legs with full force. The attacker crashed to the floor, revealing a jagged tattoo on the side of his neck, a wolf's head. Another soldier of the boss. Logan secured the man quickly, pressing his knee into the attacker's spine. Titan's growl rumbled, deep, unbroken, a reminder of the nightmare trying to reclaim him. Then Logan heard another sound, a whimper. He turned, spotting a crate, crudely set down near the back door. Inside was a small dog, trembling, its fur drenched, eyes wide with trauma. A tiny Pomeranian, golden fur clumped from the rain, no more than a year old. It looked like it had been dragged through hell. The attacker hissed through clenched teeth. Message from the boss. Logan's stomach sank. This wasn't a rescue. It was bait. Sirens blared outside as officers swarmed the scene. Titan planted himself protectively between Logan and the crate. Logan crouched and opened the cage slowly, lifting the little dog out gently. The small creature clung to Logan's shirt desperately, shaking like its heart might break apart. "He wants you scared," Hale growled as he entered, rain still dripping from his coat. "He wants Titan terrified and off duty." Logan stood tall, eyes cold fire. "It's not working." But even as he said it, Titan stared at the crate, eyes wide, breath shaking. Something about that small dog, its fear, triggered memories Titan couldn't bury. He whimpered, ears flat, body trembling. Logan knelt, pulling Titan into his arms. "I'm right here," he whispered, and Titan pressed into him, clinging to the only truth he fully trusted. Hale looked at both of them, resolve hardening his features. "We hit back tomorrow, hard." Tonight, they had been hunted. Tomorrow, they would become the hunters. Dawn crawled into Denver timidly, like it feared the night might chase it back again. The storm had passed, leaving mist draped over the city like a faded memory. Logan Carter stood inside the K-9 Division briefing room, buttoning his tactical vest with steady hands. The sleepless hours behind him were heavy, but purpose made them lighter. Titan sat pressed against his leg, bandaged paws planted firm, gaze bright with focus. Pain still lingered, but so did determination. Sergeant Hale paced before the assembled officers, a map pinned behind him showing the industrial outskirts near the mountains. Last night's attack gave them the final missing piece, a hideout owned by the boss, an old ranch abandoned decades ago. The same road the black sedan had taken, a road now marked with justice. "We go in quiet," Hale instructed, voice gravel but confident. He pointed to Logan. "Titan leads the entry." Logan nodded. Titan's ears pricked upward, tail lifting slightly. He understood his role better than any human could. Beside Hale stood Dr. Karen Bennett, the police veterinarian assigned to help with rescued dogs. Tall and slender, with steel-gray hair and a loose braid and gentle hazel eyes behind thin silver glasses, Karen carried herself with controlled grace born of years, comforting the helpless. She knelt beside Titan and checked his paws. "He shouldn't be working," she murmured, worry tight in her tone. Titan nudged her hand away, as if to say, "I'm not done yet." Karen sighed with a tiny smile. "Stubborn as a soldier." Logan leaned down, whispering into Titan's fur. "One last battle, partner. Then we bring everyone home." The convoy moved. The ranch appeared through the rising mist, like a graveyard disguised as a home. Rusted fencing, collapsed barn roofs, and long-dead grass whispered tales of forgotten harm. Officers crept into position. Logan and Titan took point toward the main barn, a hulking silhouette where faint barking echoed. Titan stiffened, his nose directing them to a side panel slightly ajar. With Hale's signal, Logan pushed it open. What they saw inside twisted his throat tight. Dozens of dogs, strong, trained, loyal, crowded in filthy cages, some injured, some starved, some whimpering for those who once believed in them. Titan whimpered, but stayed focused, moving toward the darkest stall. Logan followed and froze. Clara Vaughn knelt inside a cell, arms wrapped around a shaking German shepherd. Her pale skin was smeared with dirt, hair unbound and tangled like she had been dragged through chaos. The confident guard from before was gone, replaced by a trembling woman with desperation hollowing her cheeks. Her green eyes lifted to Logan. "I tried." Tears streaked down her face. "I tried to help them, but he made me stay." Logan recognized real fear, real regret. Officer Jessica Lee's research would later confirm it. Clara wasn't a villain. She was a prisoner wearing a uniform. Titan approached the shepherd beside Clara, black-furred with deep brown eyes clouded by trauma. Titan sniffed, then rested his head gently atop the other dog's shoulder. Logan swallowed emotion thick in his throat. Titan was saying, "You are not alone anymore." Hale's voice pierced the moment. "Gunshots! Outside!" The battle had begun. Officers exchanged fire with masked gunmen flanking the farmhouse. Logan charged toward the commotion, Titan sprinting like an arrow unleashed from a bow. Hale and two officers covered their advance, bullets sparking off metal troughs and old tractors. From the farmhouse porch stepped the boss, immaculate coat billowing like a villain in a legend. The gold wolf ring glinted beneath the newborn sun, a pistol in his hand, calm smile on his lips. "Brave dog," he said, gaze locked on Titan. But still just a dog. He fired. Titan dashed sideways, narrowly avoiding the bullet. Logan returned fire, forcing the boss to duck behind a wooden beam. Titan lunged forward with a savage bark. No fear, only loyalty burning in muscle and bone. The boss tried to retreat, but Titan was faster. He clamped down onto the man's coat sleeve, dragging him to the ground. The boss shrieked, shock tarnishing his self-assured calm. Logan rushed in, kicking the gun away and pinning the man down with a force fueled by every dog who had suffered. "Put your hands where I can see them," Logan growled, breath raw. The boss stared up, blue eyes burning with hate, but also defeat. He had run out of places to hide. With the boss arrested and his soldiers fleeing or captured, officers opened cage after cage, freedom spilling out into sunlight. The German shepherd Titan, comforted, leaned into Logan's palm, finally safe. Clara was escorted out for care and questioning, but she looked at Titan with gratitude that needed no words. Dr. Bennett and animal rescue vans surged in, transforming horror into relief. Among the rescued was the little Pomeranian from last night, now wrapped in a tiny blanket, licking Titan's chin in shaky thanks. Titan's tail thumped the ground for the first time in what felt like forever. Hale clasped Logan's shoulder firmly. "You two saved them," he said, letting pride soften his voice for once. "You saved all of us." Logan knelt, cupping Titan's face gently. "We did it," he whispered. Titan exhaled, leaning into the touch, finally allowing his tired body to rest. Because the nightmare was over. The sun climbed higher, golden light sweeping across the ranch, touching every rescued life. Titan watched the horizon, and for the first time since his own rescue, there was no fear in his eyes, only hope. And Logan realized something. Titan had never been owned by anyone. He chose who he fought for. He chose family. He chose him. They walked together toward the waiting trucks, surrounded by wagging tails and second chances, heroes with paws, hearts, and a future finally their own. Sometimes, God sends miracles wrapped in fur, with paws instead of wings. Miracles that walk beside us, protect us, and remind us that love can rise from the darkest places. Titan's story is proof that even when the world turns cruel, hope still finds a way home. Pain can be healed. Broken hearts can beat strong again. And the loyalty of a four-legged hero can reflect God's unconditional love, silent, steadfast, eternal. Maybe you, too, have faced storms that made you doubt the light. But remember this: if God can lead a forgotten dog out of fear and into a future full of purpose, He can guide any one of us through our struggles and into His grace. So tonight, whisper a prayer for the protectors, the officers, the rescuers, the brave souls with paws, and for every heart still waiting to be saved. May God bless you, may He watch over you and your family, and may His angels walk beside you in every step you take. If Titan's journey touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to our channel so more people can believe in the miracles God sends us every day. Tell us in the comments, where are you watching from, and who is your guardian angel today? May God's grace fill your home with peace, and may His love guide all lost souls back to the light.